Zoe thing.
Oh, right, 87. Yeah, who is that lesbian TERF? I think I know who you mean.
Lesbian
and I
TERF.
also forget her name.
A lesbian
But the big one who's like big on YouTube.
I don't know.
Let's see.
I want to know.
YouTube lesbian TERF. Ariel, is that her? I think that's her.
I think I know who this girl is.
So, yeah,
I know this
Jesus.
girl. Oh my god, I've seen all of her video. Well, not
You
all,
have?
but like she was like one of the YouTube lesbians. I thought she was super hot. I didn't know she had bad takes.
Oh yeah, she's a TERF.
I didn't know.
She's
I
totally
mean,
a
last time
TERF.
I watched her videos was like forever ago. Like a decade ago. I was watching her
Trans
stuff.
Mafia is back.
What?
Didn't they ban the only lesbian subs that were focused on
She
being
lives here.
anti-trans? I'm sure there are plenty of other general subs for lesbians. Actually, there's not, because they're all banned. It is about that time. Lesbians are now the most oppressed people in the LGBT community. People don't even think that we are...
What do you think, Zoe?
I disagree.
Lesbian?
I disagree.
Okay.
I
Who would
disagree.
you say was the most oppressed?
Well, black lesbians, definitely, if you look at that intersectionally.
Oh my God, yeah.
But trans people, 100%.
Yeah.
Trans people, and then it goes trans, bisexuals, lesbians, and then gays, I think.
That seems fair.
I
to
think
me.
I think bisexuals get a ton of hate from the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, I mean, they get straight up like erased. They get like
yeah.
invalidated to their face.
My therapist literally asked me if because I have, like, it just happenstance, but I've dated exclusively bisexual women my whole life. And my therapist legit asked me, do you date bisexual women because you know they're going to leave you for a man one day? And I'm like, what? Do you know what bisexual means?
Yeah, that is a rough.
So, yeah, no, I would say trans people are absolutely the most discriminated against.
Yeah.
Bisexual people are discriminated against within their own community. And then I'm sure, like, in certain situations, like, yeah, lesbians are more discriminated against than, like, white gay men, say.
But aren't there a lot of situations where gay men get more hate than lesbians because homophobic dudes are afraid of are afraid of getting kissed or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
whereas
yeah.
with women, they're like, yeah, lesbians.
Yes,
you know?
sort of.
I'm
I
sure it's not that kind of
if you're looking at like hate crimes and violence, yes, like flamboyant gay men do get a lot of like that sort of stuff, whereas a lot of lesbians, specifically feminine presenting lesbians, like don't get as much of that hate. However, if you look at it like just the way that the country works, there are hundreds and hundreds of gay bars all over America. There are 20 lesbian bars left in the entire country. There's just really not a ton of lesbian representation
That's a
within
wild
the
statistic,
It's
yeah.
there's 20 lesbian bars left in the entire
America.
United States.
That's crazy.
And
Not even one per state.
And so, yeah, not even one per state. And so, like, what happens is, like, a lot of gay bars, like the one here, the Abbey, have, like, a lesbian night where a lot of lesbians go. But we don't really have any safe spaces for us.
Yeah.
Our safe spaces are now also safe spaces for queer men. And a lot of queer men don't like lesbians.
Sure.
So it's sort of like we've just sort of been excluded from the conversation in a lot of
Well,
ways.
because also you're women, and so
Yes.
you've also got misogyny at large
Totally.
impacting
So that's
everything.
that's that intersectionality where it's like we're also dealing with the world through like a female perspective, and like I'm a pretty feminine presenting lesbian. Sometimes, not always.
Off and on.
But like a lot of like people won't know I'm gay until I tell them, and so that like has changed my experience as a gay person because like I don't really wear it on my sleeve. I'm not walking around like as a mask who like clearly is gay or queer in some way. So I can't really speak to how I'm discriminated against in a lot of ways, but I have noticed just like within representation in the country, like lesbians are sort of forgotten.
Yeah, no, I think that's an excellent overview. Thank
And it's
you, Zoe.
sexualized. It's over-sexualized.
Well, yeah, exactly.
real orientation anymore. Plus, we have the least amount of people. Ariel, what are you talking about? Lesbians are not oppressed at all. Oppressed from LGBT activists saying that the term lesbian is old-fashioned and problematic to those same...
Is that like a big...
Wait,
I've never
activists say
even
the
heard of
term
that
lesbian is
article.
problematic?
That feels like
Can you play that again?
one person's editorial piece. More people. What do people think of the word lesbian now? Like this is just one article.
Yeah, it's
I don't
super-
feel like there's a big, a broad push to get rid of the term lesbian. Well, I think I would hope you would hear about it as a gay
No.
woman if there was.
I don't know any lesbians who want to get rid of the word lesbian.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of like outdated. A lot of people now are expecting, or sort of accepting that like gender and sex are not on a binary, like neither of them really, sexuality included.
Yeah.
So like, I guess if we're talking about it like in a fluid way, but I've never heard anyone ever be like, the term lesbian is done.
Yeah, no,
I've never heard that.
It strikes me as fear-mongering on first blush.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. And yeah, no, totally with the Riot 87, once it gets large enough, yeah, there's going to be some divergence. Definitely there has been among progressives. I mean, we talk a lot about, like, you know, how I think it's important to be, if you are a leftist, like we are, it's important to also find the time to be critical of bad takes from leftists, you know. And it was a lot of what we were talking about earlier, too, is just, like, having the confidence to speak up when you disagree with, you know, be it the progressive movement at large or leftist movement at large, or if you disagree with the consensus of a demographic. Like an example I gave is how like 80% of black people are against defunding the police, you know, and yet the Black Lives Matter movement, the leaders of it are fully abolitionists, and I'm pro defund the police. And I always say, like, that's for the police, too.
Yeah.
I'm not just trying to punish the police. I think it would be nicer if no one had to be a police.
Yeah, yeah.
And cops complain so much about being cops. It's such a weird thing that they're like, you know, my job's so hard and I have to put my life on the line and nobody respects me. And it's like, okay, can we get rid of this job? You don't have to do it anymore. And he's like, no! No, I am. Right. You can't take it away from. It's like, what's happening here?
What do you want?
Yeah, what do you want?
Hi, Pippi. Hi, small guy.
Oh, Pippi's at the top of the stairs,
puppy?
looking cute.
He's looking down.
So yeah, I think it's very important to take responsibility. You know, and of course, that's not me saying like the 80% of the black community is wrong. Like, no, it's just me saying like I disagree.
Yeah. I
disagree with 80% of the black community on that issue.
Yeah.
And I'm also fully ready and open-minded to, like, you know, that especially, I mean, anybody, but especially a black person, like, if they disagree with me and want to explain it to me, I'm like, please, I want to hear all about it.
Yeah.
And very ready to go like, oh, shit, I missed something because of my white privilege. And I had a blind spot, and now you've opened my eyes, and I changed my mind.
Got it.
I'm fully open to that always.
I've seen you do it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to pretend like I don't disagree with the majority when I do.
All right, what's this girl gotta say? There's a diamond.
The term lesbian is old-fashioned and problematic. To those same people saying that lesbians should like dicks, since some trans women date women and some trans women have dicks. I mean, we rarely see like
anyone who, like, generally speaking, and you tell me, Zoe, in the LGBTQ community, that like I don't think there really is any push to ban genital preference. Right? Like most people across all communities are very fine with genital preference.
Yeah.
And they don't think it's bigoted.
I don't like penises anywhere near me.
Yeah.
Would I date a trans woman? Yeah.
Yeah. But you said you would have sex with a trans woman if you had a penis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do I like the feeling of penis?
No.
Could I fall in love with a trans woman? Absolutely. Could I fall in love with a cis man? I just am incapable.
Yeah.
It just like doesn't work in my brain or my psyche.
For sure.
However, I will say like I have exclusively dated bisexual women who do like penises. So I don't know like from like looking at other like girls' perspectives because I have way too many straight friends. From girls' perspectives like the like genital preference. There's always been sort of a lack of a genital preference with the people I've been involved with sexually. So I don't really.
Well, yeah, I don't have I don't have a super strong genital preference either, and I've often said that like I'm mostly straight. You know, I'm generally only attracted to women. Like every now and then, like I'll like think some I'll usually a celebrity. You know, like Chris Evans. I'll be like, he's so cute. I'd like to kiss him. You know, or like who else? What other dude celebrities do I want to kiss? You know, like Harry Styles is super cute.
He is cute.
You know, like there's a lot of cute dudes I'd love to give a smooch, but it would be probably like a funsy smooch. I don't think I'd like get hot and heavy make out with them. But like, you know, I for me like in my attraction to women, I like definitely care way more about upstairs than downstairs. Which is like I'm like I like vaginas for sure, but I'm also like if there was a dick there instead and there's a trans woman with a penis, like all right. I don't know.
Party on.
I'm like, okay.
You got a fun thing up in your cooter.
Yeah, and like, and I
A
certainly
little thing
don't
up
think
there that feels good.
Yeah, I don't think this is the way. Like, you have. I'm definitely not like saying people should feel this way. Just that for me, it's like, yeah, I don't have a really strong genital preference.
Yeah.
And also, I've always been kind of attracted to somewhat masculine features on women. Like, I like broad shoulders and strong jaws, and so yeah. There's a lot of wiggle room in there. But generally speaking, I think that, yeah, if you are of the opinion, if you have very strong genital preference and you're like, I don't want a dick anywhere, I never want to deal with a vagina, and that's just, like, that's fine. Mm-hmm. As long as you don't also then say some weird transphobic shit revealing that it wasn't just about genital preference, it's because you're a weird bigot.
It's because you're weirded out.
Yeah.
And no, yeah, I don't think physical attributes have anything to do with gender at all.
Yeah.
I don't. And when I'm speaking to gender, like I think this concept of gender it's relatively new. It's like a white supremacist concept. Gender.
Oh, yeah.
The gender binary is white supremacist in its origin.
Yeah.
And
gender has been a very fluid concept throughout human history.
Absolutely.
Across different cultures. Like, it's never been as locked into a binary as it is now.
yeah. There's a difference between personally being into cis women and talking shit about how it's wrong to like women who aren't. Right.
Yeah.
And like I tend to, my preference, it's like femme for femme. Like I'm femme for femme.
Right.
So like I like really feminine presenting women. Like that's really attractive to me. But I'm never, ever going to be like, I would never date a trans woman. I'm never, ever going to be like, like there's no door that gets closed there because of someone's like attributes or features. And that's probably because I'm okay with trans people.
Yeah.
And I think I'm like totally down with people being trans. I think that's great, and I think the gender binary is weird.
Yeah. It is. Well, it's weird because it's gender is a construct, and like there are certainly realities between the sexes of male and female. There are all kinds of biological differences you can point to.
And there's nuance within those realms.
And gender's a construct. Get out of here, OneDrive. Get out of here.
All right.
Okay.
Lesbian bars anymore. I think at one point, maybe 20 years ago, there were about 200 in the United States, and now we're down to about 15. There have been
even less
of lesbian nights over the past 5 years that have since then changed their names to queer events to become more inclusive, therefore intentionally or unintentionally becoming actually exclusive. Can I just say that it's very interesting?
That's fair, yeah. I was going to say, I think that's a fair
That's exactly the point I was making earlier.
This kind of stuff only happens in lesbian spaces and not in gay men's spaces. I'm just saying. Especially in New York City, most lesbian parties are now called queer parties. Yes. And I know I might be a little bit biased here because I personally hate the word queer. And a big reason for that is because most of the people that identify with that term are just people who are not same-sex attracted, who do not have gender dysphoria, who are simply just dyeing their hair a different color, painting their nails.
That's not true.
That's it.
That's not true.
Go for it, Sally.
That's not true. I mean, I'm sure there are tons of people that exist in the world who call themselves queer because they express themselves differently, but it almost always has to do with either some sort of gender dysphoria or some sort of same-sex attraction.
Yeah.
I've never met like a cis straight person who calls themselves queer because they have blue hair.
Yeah, I mean, no, I nor have I. And I feel I identify more strongly with queer than straight. Even though I'm like, I want to be real of like, I am mostly straight and I do enjoy all the benefits.
I've never heard you say, hi, I'm Casey Katsaris, I'm queer.
Exactly.
That's the thing though.
Exactly, yeah.
And like...
and I've never said, hi, I'm Casey Katsaris, I'm straight either.
Yeah. You say mostly straight.
Yeah, I say mostly straight. Which I think is fair.
Which
like
is
that
fine.
makes sense to me, and I think it is a fairly accurate descriptor for what my internal experience is. But yeah.
And I think, like, I think, like, a term that actually is outdated and stupid is gold star lesbian.
What does that mean?
That means, kids at home,
kids
a gold star lesbian is a lesbian who's never had sexual intercourse or interaction with a man, has only ever been with women. I'm not a gold star lesbian. I've had sex with more men than women. Hated it every time. Definitely gay. But, like...
But society's weird.
Sexuality's weird. And, like, there are tons of, like, late-in-life lesbians who, like, come out of the closet later. They have probably, like, there are tons of lesbians who are, like, married to men.
Well, also
and they can't be gold star.
Most gay dudes I know had sex with girls in high school.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. And like, I'm not speaking to the majority, I'm sure. But, like, I've not heard, and perhaps this is because I'm a lesbian, but I've never heard, like, a gold star gay. Like,
Yeah, I
that's a
haven't heard that
specifically
either.
lesbian term. That, in my knowledge.
Well, I think it makes sense that it would be like more specific to lesbian culture because, again, that intersectionality of misogyny and patriarchy. That like it's like more of a like you didn't let any of those damn men into the women club.
No, that's literally
Whereas,
what
like,
it is.
The gays I don't think care as much. Because they aren't threatened by power structures,
yes, of course,
controlled by women.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, whatever, that's fine. Just get back to my butt, please. Yeah. So
get back to my butt. No one ever come anywhere near my butt. I hate it. I've specifically never shaved my butt because I'm like, I want there to be like a net in the way so that no one can touch it. I hate that shit. I hate it. Don't go near my butt.
You should set up
viewers at home. Nobody goes near my butt.
You should set up like a layer of leaves with like a trigger string. They're like, I'm gonna get in that butt. Whoa!
Anyway, what's this fucking TERF have to say?
Oh, you actually agreed with the last thing she said.
She's made some good points.
See how much better you're getting at listening,
I'm
Zoe?
listening,
You're
Casey,
really listening.
and I'm having a fun,
Me
fancy
too.
free
This is
time.
super fun.
If I'm on a dating app and somebody says that they're queer, I literally have no idea what that means anymore. But you know, everyone is all about it because it's woke and it encompasses a wide range of identities and it doesn't risk excluding groups that the acronym may leave out. And the acronym at this point is like LGBTQIAP+2.
It ends at the
Here's
A,
some more
girl.
internet for you.
To me, the word queer seems way more about politics than sexual orientation or gender identity or, honestly, think about it. Have you ever met a queer conservative, a queer or non-binary Republican? Like, I know exactly of one non-binary Republican. One. This
There are
article that I'm
some,
about
yeah,
to read
they're
really,
rare.
really
They
upset me.
exist.
And a bunch of young women were asked how they feel about the word lesbian. And this is what they had to say. Thoughts on the L word. I decided to ask a few different people what they thought about the word lesbian. A young woman who identified as gay. By the way, I used to identify as gay because I was also ashamed of the word lesbian. This is like 10 years ago. And now I use the word lesbian like it's my second name.
You ever feel ashamed of the word lesbian?
Yeah, I call myself gay. I've always called myself gay.
And but that's tied to shame?
No, I just gay has fewer syllables. I'm pretty lazy. I just want to say the word and people get it.
All right, different stroke. I'm just curious.
But
if you have that
I
experience.
understand what she's saying here. And yes, it's like you
Right.
don't meet Jewish Nazis. It's the same thing. Like the non-binary people are specifically hurt by
Yet
Republican
there are.
concepts.
I know.
They exist.
I had a
They
friend, one of my
exist.
elementary school friends, a Jewish guy, is now like a Nazi. He's like super conservative and anti-Jewish, and like he posts like the like anti-Semitic like the cartoon of the conniving Jewish man. He's like fully anti-Semitic now, and he's a Jewish kid. It's amazing what the human brain can do.
Which I guess it kind of is in this case. She said that she didn't like the word lesbian because it felt too full on and intense. It is unfortunate that the word lesbian is kind of synonymous with lesbian porn, which is why a lot of homosexual women
is
will
not
call
for the
themselves
girls.
gay and not lesbian. That's definitely one of the reasons I used to.
Do you feel I'm
Lesbian porn's not for the girls.
No, sure, but I mean, in terms of the idea that like the word lesbian is now like synonymous with pornography, do you feel that?
No, but I mean, I don't know.
I could see how someone could, but it's on first blush on me, it feels like an exaggeration.
Weird. And she's also like only using like one story. She hasn't given us any like data. She's like, this
Right.
one, my friend wrote this article. Well, my
Yeah,
buddy said this.
yeah.
I also
know this
chatted with a
guy.
young trans man about it who identified as straight, and
said
he
I know a
said
bunch
that
of
the word
lesbians.
lesbian reminded him of an older butch woman. His female friend agreed. I found these answers interesting. I find these answers to be homophobic and misogynistic, but to each their own, I guess.
Here's some more internet for you.
And now, Reddit has banned, but interesting.
I guess, would you say, again, gay perspective, do you think that saying these answers are homophobic, necessarily?
What, saying that like lesbian
It
sounds
feels
like...
too full on intense and reminds them of an older butch woman.
No, I don't think it's inherently homophobic. I think it's a little like off base.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's homophobic.
But it also just feels like someone describing their, like, irrational emotional reaction. Like, not
Yeah.
necessarily asserting that that's correct, but just like that when you like this person saying when I hear the word lesbian,
Yeah.
that's kind of what springs into my mind.
Yeah, and I mean, like, is it like a bad take? Yes. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. Yeah. And I mean, we're talking about like semantics here. This is like linguistics. Like I don't know, like
right.
Like
yeah, I was just curious how it landed with you as a
If you're complaining that words are innocuous and identifying things, congratulations, you're missing the point of words. Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. Wait, I wanted to see what Rai said.
Yeah, there's one
thing. Yeah, should. Yeah, the LGBTQA community should never be above criticism.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
People are pretending the words.
You guys
talk
that.
Yeah. You guys are chiming with each other.
We're gonna watch a little more.
But yes, well, I was gonna say, and like LGBTQIA, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and asexual. The A is including asexual people within the LGBTQ community, which we still usually just call LGBTQ. And like asexuals are like not even recognized at all in any spaces, and for an asexual person to call themselves queer, I have no problem with that. And that's not someone who, that may be someone who doesn't feel any same-sex attraction. They may not feel sexual attraction at all. And that I consider queer. It's not of the norm in the sexual binary,
right?
You know, so that's queer to me.
Yeah, it's and anything that is exterior to heteronormativity, I think, is queer, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
It's kind of queer.
Yeah.
And I also know almost no cishet people that are like, I'm queer.
Yeah.
Okay, what else you gotta say?
I find these answers to be homophobic and misogynistic, but to each their own, I guess.
Here's some more internet for you.
And now, Reddit has banned lesbians. Like, actually banned discussing what lesbians think of lesbians and what lesbian means to them. Like, you can't do it on Reddit anymore. First of all, if you go to reddit.com/lesbians, it's literally just lesbian porn. I do want to give a quick shout out to supposedly the straight men that created this lesbians page, because they actually do seem to give a shit about real lesbians. They actually give a little shout out on the right side of their page for lesbians like myself who want a forum to discuss topics, and instead, of course, got porn. See, straight dudes aren't that bad. It's really just the queer people that are annoying the hell out of me these days.
I've been thinking, what if my preferred pronoun, instead of he, she, they, it's just bitch?
So let's go to that page, which is reddit.com.
She has, between every take she has, posted a TikTok. Most of them from people who identify as non-binary or trans. Just saying. She's using content from trans people.
.com/actual lesbians. A place for discussions for and by cis
and
and
so
trans.
for context, Mark, this is a TERF speaking.
Yeah, she's a lesbian TERF. And it's someone who I know who she is, and I used to watch her videos like a decade ago. I used to have a crush on her. I thought she was super hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not team this girl.
Yeah.
At least in this context. I used to be team this girl because I had a crush on her.
Yeah, all people have the potential to be awful. That's true.
I could tell from her hair.
And straight dudes aren't that bad, Mark. That's us. We're not that bad. Not in and of ourselves.
Trans lesbians, bisexual girls, chicks who like chicks, bi-curious folks, dykes, butches, femmes, blah, 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 blah. Can we not have anything to ourselves? I can't help but notice, though, whenever I go to other, like most lesbian pages, on any forum, and any social networking site, they are either not for actual lesbians, like, because they're usually like porn, or they will have a shit ton of other sexual orientations and gender identities listed as people that are also welcome. But on Reddit specifically, which is fucking infuriating. If I notice that if anybody was to mention that lesbianism is for female homosexuals, you get banned. The group gets banned. I found an article on this that proves these claims and has them documented. We got the receipts, bitch! This says, there are now no lesbian forums allowed on Reddit that are exclusively for lesbians. You must include males claiming to be lesbians and let them talk about their penis endlessly in your lesbian forums, or you will be banned.
We just like went right into the turf.
Oh no,
deep
she
end.
really she was like, lesbians have been discriminated against, facts, a little bit, with sprinkled in some bullshit takes.
Yeah.
And then she's like, trans women are men.
Yeah.
That. She said
Just
the
like
quiet
that.
part out loud.
Well, she didn't even. She's just. It's completely baked in. You know, like she's taking it as an absolute fact. And then like talk like I don't, and also I don't know like are trans women lesbians who have a penis are they just like do they just love talking about their penis? Is that what they're doing when they get into these forums? They're just like, oh, thanks for inviting me in, guys. Now, my penis.
No,
Like
no.
I don't believe that.
No, and once again, a lot of trans women still have a penis because they can't afford to not.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's everyone. Once again, not everyone is out there to pass.
Yeah, no, some people don't want to
and
get
that's
body
fine,
surgery.
and that's
Right.
totally valid and totally great. I am all for expression of any kind of gender or anything that makes you feel joy. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And a lot of trans women or trans men just simply don't have the financial means to pass.
Yeah.
Period.
I just got a commercial audition.
You got a commercial audition?
Yeah.
Nice.
Not be right wing and LGBT, you'll be banned. You cannot wish to organize purely as LGB, or you will be banned. And you cannot be gender critical, or you will be banned. If you go on reddit.com/LGBT and proclaim that lesbian sex only involves people who possess vaginas, you will be banned. If you claim that gay sex is only for people with penises, you guessed it, you'll be banned, bitch. One of the subreddits that was also banned was True Lesbians.
Well, it's transphobia, right? I mean, like that's just and it's like, and it just seems kind of like a little misleading here of like her to not address that, like address the actual argument. If she wants to say like because she's just operating on the premise of like like trans women are not women, that trans women are men, and I just wish she was actually making a case instead of just taking it as granted.
I wonder what her stance on the like super straight movement was.
Yeah.
Because this is super straight to me, except gay.
Right.
Yeah. This is like the super straight shit was horrible.
Super straights. Oh my god.
So stupid.
I'm glad
They're
it
like,
seemed
we're
to-
part of the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
We're super straight.
It seemed to
Like,
die
shut
out.
The fuck
It seemed to
up.
die out pretty quickly.
Because it was
which is
so
nice.
stupid.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
and also
this is the same shit.
And if you watch any debate with a super straight proponent, like they were, oh my god, like because there were a number of debates for a little while where the super straights were trying to speak up for being super straight, and they all got smoked so hard. They looked so stupid in every debate. I think they all just stopped saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. 87.
Let's read some comments from members of that group, shall we? It says, literally just a sub for lesbians to talk about being lesbians because Reddit hates homosexuals. Like, fuck. We're really at this point. Somebody said, didn't they ban the only lesbian subs that were focused on being anti-trans? I'm sure there are plenty of other general subs for lesbians. Actually, there's not because they're all banned. Nobody was anti-trans. Lesbians just don't like dick. Full agree. That doesn't mean that anyone is saying trans people can't exist. You can't buy me into liking dick. That's homophobic. I'm not sure what buying me means.
You don't have to like the dick, though. You just have to accept that other people do.
I don't like dick, and I date a trans woman.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
But also, it's like there are, but to be fair, there are women who, like you, who are gay and don't want to date a trans woman with a penis.
Yeah,
Ever. They have a genital preference.
And that's cool.
They don't want to deal with dicks. That's cool if you wanted to say, like, hey, I'm not into dicks. But the problem is trying to erase the cis cis women lesbians who like a trans woman's dick, and the trans woman lesbians who exist. That's the problem. Like I don't think anyone's getting banned for just saying like I'm not into touching dongs.
yeah.
I don't think that'll get you banned.
I've never
But if
gotten
you
in trouble for
say
that.
A woman can't have a dong, now you're transphobic.
Yeah.
And you're out. Like, it just seems like Reddit is protecting trans people from transphobic rhetoric, which I support.
You would think in 2021 homophobia would be wrong, but instead it's the whole woke thing. Also full agree. I agree, lesbians don't like dick, and it's not anti-trans to want to talk about issues that we face individually in our community, in our tiny, tiny community, like literally. Things that only affect us, we're not allowed to talk about. Let's read something else. Somebody said, this is pissing me off. I was a member of that subreddit. We only discussed dating, relationships, and similar lesbian issues. Literally the only lesbian place on Reddit. And somebody said, I swear to God, I'm in shock. There was nothing transphobic or racist or whatever in that subreddit. It was a place for women who love women who don't want to deal with the girl dick mafia. Can we call them that from now on, the girl dick mafia?
Girl dick mafia is transphobia. She just like said there was no transphobia, now let me be transphobic. It's just, that's the thing. It's like
girl dick mafia.
Everything she's asserting is rooted in a faulty premise. So she's not going to say nothing she says from this point is going to make sense because it's built on bad ground. But you get the idea, right?
Do you think other people are that invasive to the extent that she describes? No.
Yeah, as a lesbian.
Like, do I think like trans people are invasive in our spaces?
I guess that's
Is that the question? Because
right?
no, I don't think so. But I really, truly, like, without any hesitation, accept trans women as women.
Yeah.
So if they want to come into female spaces, I'm fine with that. I'm not thinking this is a man coming into my space.
Right.
If I'm trying to focus on just lesbian stuff, and there's a trans man who says that she's a lesbian, or a trans woman, rather, who says she's a lesbian, great, welcome. I don't give a shit, because the lesbian community has been gate kept enough, and we're excluded plenty. We're excluded from, like I said, representation within media. We're excluded from, representation in bars. We're excluded from representation in a lot of places. So I have no interest in being like, well, we're gonna exclude you now. It's weird. It's like, that's the whole problem.
Yeah, I feel you.
I don't experience antagonism. Like, do I experience such antagonism sorry, there's some among LGBT yes, there is discriminatory attitude among LGBTQI spaces, and yeah, I the discrimination is usually from cisgendered gay people who or lesbian people who exclude bisexuals and who exclude transgender people. And then asexuals are often excluded as well because they don't have same-sex attraction. So that's not gay. That's not queer. Queers are often excluded because they're not gay enough, So within the gay and lesbian community, yes, there's a lot of exclusion, and it almost always has to do with the gender binary.
What do you think about, do you think there should be, like, for example, a Reddit or any given forum, digital or otherwise, like if cis lesbians who have a genital preference for vaginas only, if they wanted to have their own Reddit space of like, we are cis lesbians who like vagina.
I don't really give a shit.
I don't really give a shit either.
I don't really give a shit.
But it seems like the hill, like she's dying on, and other people in that ideological camp is like, it has to be called just a lesbian forum, and it has to exclude all trans women.
Well,
lesbians.
she's gatekeeping the word
right,
lesbian.
where exactly, where she could have her forum for, I mean, to be honest, TERF lesbians, but but they could call it, they could call it like a forum
cis women who like cis women.
Yeah, cis women who like cis women.
And
I don't think that would be transphobic.
Yeah, not necessarily. The super straight movement says like, I am cis man who likes cis women. Period.
They'd end up saying transphobic shit in there. But the idea of the forum in and of itself, I think, is not necessarily transphobic.
Especially, like, is she including trans women who have gotten bottom surgery? Is she including trans women who have vaginas?
She's dodging that entirely.
Because I have a feeling she also doesn't want trans women who have gotten bottom surgery in her space.
Yeah, that is
how that reads to me. So maybe a better general, super trans exclusionary. Totally.
I thought super trans might be.
The automod thought super trans was a slur.
You super trans. But what was when she was talking about, like, I think a forum like that. could be chill. And yeah, and she seems to be completely sidestepping trans women
Yeah.
with vaginas.
Yeah.
And there's also, I think there's some weird nuance in the TERF community of there are like some who are just like, fuck trans people in general. And then there are some who are like, if you do the full transition shebang, in my opinion, then I will acknowledge you as a trans person.
Which is
But if
Blair
you
White's
do-
take, right?
Right, yeah. And if you do anything less than the full shebang, in my view, then you're not.
Right, which
So
a
I
lot of it
wonder-
has to do with financial issues.
Yeah, so I feel like the most like good faith, like charitable interpretation I could have here is that she does think that if you do the full shebang in her eyes of transition, that you're a woman as long as if you had a dick, you got rid of the dick and replaced it with a vagina. But like that's just being I don't think she's actually asserted that. It's just like that could be the most charitable interpretation I could have until she actually makes herself clear, which I feel like she's
don't
not
think she
going
will.
to do.
Oh my God, Mark, ew.
Oh yeah, my friend who
What is the deal with people saying that?
it's a hilarious conspiracy theory. My
She got
friend,
sexy arms.
My friend who's Jewish, my elementary school friend who now is an anti-Semite on the internet. He's huge on the Michelle Obama is secretly a man theory. He posts it all the time. He's also the first guy I saw who posted the thing about that when gay people named Pride Month, they were hiding a clue in the middle of it. Like the reason they picked the term Pride Month is because in the middle, if you take away the pry and you take away the th, then in the middle you get demon.
It's like that lady who's like,
The monster,
The
the monster
monster
energy
lady.
can. And she's like, I found all the
666.
codes. And I just love imagining these people's brains and like imagining a world where all the gay people got together at their like Legion of Doom gay base in the swamp, and they were like, yes, we must create a month of gay promotion to push our gay agenda, and then they were like, but also let's sneak in a little clue. Because they'll never know. We have them in our clutches. The sheep are
like
controlled.
we're little serial killers.
They're like the
leaving
Riddler.
fucking
They're the
trophies.
They're the fucking Riddler. These people are imagining gay people as a bunch of Riddlers in a supervillain base, going like, oh, we can't just do our crimes. We have to drop breadcrumbs.
So
It's so
dumb
bizarre.
and stupid. That's so bizarre. And yeah, well, here's my issue with people who are like, who say things
Mark,
like
that's
Michelle
very
Obama
funny.
is a man. Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
That say like Michelle Obama's a man. It's like, why do you give a shit what's going on downstairs? It's probably because you're attracted to her.
Yeah, right,
It's probably
right.
because you want to have sex with her.
There's a good chance.
Every time anyone's ever obsessed with something that's in my pants or anyone's pants, I
Yeah.
assume you want to have sex with me.
Yeah.
You know, why are you thinking about
At
what's
least-
in my pants?
at least sometimes.
Why are you thinking about what anyone
It
has in
is-
their pants?
it is suggestive.
Because you want to have sex with them.
What a night, Mark.
Mark, I wish I had like
What
a
a
video of this
night.
date.
Yeah, I know. You got to start a reality show for your dates.
Anyone who's watching this video right now who isn't in shock, I can understand, because I feel like the only people that see this every day are lesbians. And I think the majority that watch me now are actually something other than lesbians. It's different than it was years ago, we'll just say that. Another person in shock here. Why is it hateful or transphobic for lesbians to want their own space? It's
You
not.
see, she dropped the cisgender. She wouldn't say it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, she's fully a transphobe.
I mean, if say straight women or straight men wanted to make a Reddit just for straight women or straight men, I wouldn't consider that to be homophobic or hateful. Just a group of people wanting their own space to talk about things. Well, yeah, but if you want to make a Reddit for straight women and you won't allow trans women who are straight in there, you're a transphobe.
Yeah. Also, I frankly, if you have your weird transphobic Reddit page of being weird and transphobic,
Yeah.
it's the internet. I'm not gonna be like, no, like I know you exist.
Right. They're gonna
talk to each other anyway.
they're gonna hang out
I don't
and talk
fucking know. Just like
somewhere.
do your weird, terrible shit on the internet. I don't
yeah,
care.
yeah, and part of why a big entity like Reddit would
I'm not
ban
gonna date
these
you.
things, yeah, is like, part of it, I'm sure there are people in the lower rungs of Reddit who care about having safe spaces for trans people, but mostly why those big, company, business, corporate decisions are made is to avoid liability. So that they can't ever get called out in the media of like, Reddit is allowing transphobia to run rampant. That's all they're trying to avoid.
Who want their own space. It's not. And people wonder why women are no longer claiming the word lesbian. I mean, it's pretty clear why. Because we're not welcome in our own spaces anymore. We can't even have our own spaces. It is seen as a hateful term. It's not taken seriously. And it is sexualized in a way that no other sexual...
Her evidence for being seen as for lesbians being seen as a hateful term is like one article that interviewed 2 people.
That's like when J.K. Rowling was like, my lesbian friend said that I have good takes.
Right.
It's like, I have black friends.
Yeah,
it's the same
it's just like, come
shit.
on. You have not. She's like summarizing her case, and she hasn't made a case.
Yes. I will say, if you look up lesbian porn, all of the porn you're going to get is porn that's not for girls. If you look up queer porn, you'll get the porn that's for the theys and the gays. But like... lesbian porn, like as a search item, is generally made by men for men.
And it must be, and I imagine...
And that kind of sucks.
I imagine that sucks, and I imagine it's disturbing, off-putting to like search for your sexuality, and then you get a bunch
Someone
of
like
male
shoving
gays.
a high heel up their, like a lesbian porn. Like I've seen so many girls put high heels up their crotch.
Really?
That shit hurts. It's not fun.
I watch some lesbian porn now and then. I've never seen the...
Oh, I've seen it so many times.
What's going on with your algorithm?
So many times. Am I self-reporting? No, I don't even watch lesbian porn. I watch straight porn. Which is another weird sexuality thing. But
Kappa.
But all this time. Yeah, dude, lesbian porn is for the dudes. Generally. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of girls who like it. But like, it's just like not real to me. Like I think
because like if gay dudes search gay porn, they get gay dude porn.
Yeah.
By gay dudes, for gay dudes.
Sometimes, I mean, gay for pay is definitely a thing. But like...
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Right. Yes, of course. Often the performers are not necessarily gay. Sure. But I'm saying, like, they get something that presents gay sex in a way that is appealing to gay men.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. I would say yes.
Yeah. Or at least certainly radically closer compared to the lesbian porn tag.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like the real lesbian porn too, the queer
porn.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, queer porn's cool.
I like
love porn.
Yeah.
When people are consenting to filming it and et cetera, when it's all well and good.
Yeah. No, those are I love that shit.
Orientation is, in my opinion,
love responsible porn.
Love responsible.
Ton of what would have been lesbians years ago are now identifying as queer and non-binary, and I really, really, truly, deeply believe in my heart that this is one of the reasons why. This is a major reason why.
But then this is an interesting thing of like getting hung up on like, okay, so people you think would have identified as lesbian several decades ago are now identifying as non-binary and queer. And of course, also like you need a study and data to actually prove that in any way.
Which she's given none of.
She does not have. I mean, it doesn't exist. I mean, how would you even collect that data? How would you prove it? You're dealing with so many hypothetical alternate timelines. But I find it fascinating because it seems like she is just really hung up on the semantics and the word. And I understand wanting to be protective of the word. You don't want it to be like co-opted and taken away from the community and redefined or what have you. But at the same time, it's like, at least for me, for my position on the outside, I guess mostly outside or whatever extent I am queer, but like, I feel like the important thing is that individual humans are feeling like they can express themselves and identify themselves in the way that makes sense to them.
Yeah,
and so like, while
who gives a shit?
Maybe it's true that there are some people who like 30 years ago, they would have looked at their internal experience and their feelings and their thoughts and said, oh, I'm a lesbian. And now in the current cultural climate, they're saying I'm non-binary or I'm queer. Like, I don't really care about that as long as it makes sense to them. They feel expressed, they feel authentic, they feel acknowledged by their community. That's it. And it seems like, and I get that she's coming from a place of feeling like her idea of lesbian and her interpretation of a lesbian community is dying out. And she likes that, and she wants to keep that kind of community for herself and the other people who value that. I want to be compassionate to that concern. And at the same time, it's like, you know, if 100 years from now, every woman who likes to have sex with women calls themselves googly gog. I don't care.
Who gives a shit?
As long as they all have the freedom to do what they want, fuck who they want, marry who they want. Like, I don't like who it feels like a semantic obsession.
Yeah, well, it's a semantic obsession. And like the only reason she has any ground to stand on is because she is coming from a community that doesn't have all of the rights that straight people are awarded.
Absolutely.
So of course, like, it's more understandable when she's getting caught up in semantics. However, like, her getting caught up in semantics is not going to allow her the same spaces and rights that other people have.
Right.
Her getting caught up in semantics is doing absolutely nothing to combat the actual issue in hand, is that we don't have fucking rights.
It literally is.
It's
I
nothing.
would say it's hindering the movement.
It's pointless.
Yeah, it's slowing things down. You know, it is extending the time between now and liberation, sexual liberation. And gender liberation.
If everyone had rights, we wouldn't even be having these fucking conversations.
Exactly.
A lot of it, from what I have seen, is people just not conforming to gender roles or gender expectations, which homosexual people have been doing for years already. So why are we like throwing a new label on it? The only reason for that would be to be more welcome in the world. But you know, new labels can make somebody appear more oppressed, more special, I guess. People love that shit these days. I also...
But you're doing it too. It's always like anyone, like whenever you say people love this, these days people are like this, they're always describing themselves. Like it's the same thing with like, oh, everyone loves to get so offended these days. And it's like you're getting offended about people being offended. You're a part of it. Okay?
Also, this woman has no problem pulling ass. I know from experience. I'm friends with some of her friends. I know she has no problem getting ass. So she's doing just fine. Why is she even talking about this?
Yeah. And also it's like, I want to know, I mean, it's, I want people to have safe spaces where they can discuss things within a community of like-minded or like sexuality people.
Yeah.
And it feels like, it just feels like a weird priority. And that, like, is any of this, like, Reddit drama translating to real discrimination out in the world or, like,
she's
violence?
discriminating against trans people.
Right. That seems to be the thing. Yeah, like, she's going on Reddit and discriminating and misrepresenting the facts and science of things and then claiming that she's the one being discriminated against.
Yeah, her own sexual preferences and her own gender identity is influencing her ability to accept that same sexual preference sexual, orientation and gender identity, like excluding other people who share both of those things with her from her space.
Yeah.
She is a lesbian because she is someone who is a woman who sleeps with women.
Yeah.
That is what that means.
Yes.
And so anyone else who is a trans woman who sleeps with women, by definition,
cis or trans,
is a lesbian.
Yeah, totally. It is weird that all just TikToks. Well, that's the thing. That's what's funny about like.
Yeah, they are all
they're
13-year-olds because TikTok's for kids.
And this is just something that I've talked about before, and it's so odd to me. Of like, if I'm 38. I'm a grown man, and if I see a bunch of kids pushing like a new sort of cultural concept or whatever in that kind of realm, my first reaction is like, oh, the young people probably discovered something new. That's like my initial knee-jerk is like, right, young people coming up in the world, standing on the shoulders of everyone who came before them intellectually and all their analysis and philosophy. Like, oh, young people are like discovering new frontiers of queerness, and isn't that nifty? And I'd love to hear what these young people have to say about what they're exploring and what they're discovering. And it seems like so many people my age Because what, she's probably in her 40s, right? I would think.
30s, maybe 40s.
Maybe like maybe she's my age. Maybe she's a little older. I don't know. Maybe she's a little younger. What do I know?
Maybe she's my age and she just smokes ciggies.
Maybe she's 5 years old.
Defo 30s, says Rye.
Yeah.
I'm 27, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm still my cute little flirty 20s.
To have this reaction of like, oh, the kids, the stupid kids with their silly, like they don't get it. They don't get what I get. It's just like the Principal Skinner meme. You know? They're like, could I be out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong. Like, I don't get how people are still doing that when it's been a joke in every generation that old people get out of touch and then start thinking the new, interesting stuff young people are doing is like evil, encroaching horror. And it's like, are we ever going to stop? Could there, like, I was rooting for millennials, of which I'm a part, that like maybe we'll be the ones who don't turn into old fucking coots.
I don't know. We're getting there.
I know.
We're getting there.
And it's like, it's so sad. And like, I now I'm rooting for Gen Z. Like, please, could you guys be the ones who never turn 40 or 30 and turn around and go like, these kids with all their stupid ideas. Kids are like, don't get me wrong. A kid can be immature. A kid can be naive. Of course, there are these dynamics at play. But generally speaking, in terms of cultural progress, kids are always right. They're always fucking right. If the young people of your society are saying, hey, there's a problem here culturally, there's some bigotry going on, and we want to correct it, they're always right. Throughout history, they've never been wrong.
The young people have always had the good takes.
Yeah,
well, and that's not to say like 100%.
Well, and also there are examples where young people have been co-opted by toxic authoritarian leadership, like the Nazi youth, or the youth armies of Chairman Mao. Like there are examples where the youth have been co-opted and turned into little fascists. But generally speaking, if they're not under the influence of a fascist regime, kids are always right. Well, certainly right. In history so far, we do all turn into those eventually.
I'm hoping
but
someone
I'm
doesn't.
working on it. I want to be a force for that not happening.
Dude, Gen Z does some cool shit.
I love Gen Z.
And I'm
no
a cusper.
issue.
Like, I'm right on the edge.
Yeah, and I'm an
a
elder.
millennial.
I'm like the oldest millennial, and you're like the youngest millennial.
Yeah.
But like Gen Z, I'm totally like, I don't get, like, of course they have their idiots because they're a group of humans. And
they have that one girl whose video we watched.
Right, there are going to be idiots in any group. But like, generally speaking, I'm just like, cool, good stuff, Gen Z. Oh, you want to get more right for trans people? You want to expand the spectrum of sexual expression and like party? Cool, yeah, sounds good. And I just, it just started happening, like, I think in like the last like 5 years, that really there started to be this millennials talking shit on Gen Z. Like, obviously millennials have been having shit talked on us for like over a decade or longer, but like but yeah, there was this shift, I feel like, that started to happen in the internet discourse of like millennials, people I know even, being like, oh, these fucking Gen Zs with all their woke shit, and they all want to be queer, and they think like they can be whatever they want to identify as, and I'm like, God damn it. It's happening again.
We used to be the queer wokes.
Yeah.
We used to be the wokey queers. And now there's a bunch of kids. And we're like, those fucking wokey queers.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
It's so weird.
Why are you complaining about that when you could be making things for them to buy? But yeah, no, it is weird that she's using kids to, like, because I don't think her takes are good enough to debate with adults.
No.
I think if she was having a conversation with, like, me and Casey.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we'd
I'm definitely younger than her. I'm in my 20s. But, like, late 20s.
Oh, we'd
I'm not a
smoke her.
kid.
Oh, my God.
We'd
If we
smoke
had a
the shit out of
debate
her.
with her, oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
She'd be obliterated.
You're cute.
No offense.
Debate with me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Freudian slip. I don't want to date her. She's turfy.
Ariel
Ooh.
Scarcella. Come
I
debate
just
us.
have a crush on you. Debate me.
Or just talk. We just want to have a discussion. I mean, that's kind of like what we were talking about last night, too, of like, obviously there's already, a good little handful of hyper debate bros on Twitch and on YouTube and the general internet, and your Destinies, your Voshes. And I agree with, a fair amount of what Destiny says, disagree with a lot too. I agree with most of what Vosh says, disagree with some too. but I feel like we don't really like that's not something new to add to the mix of like just more debate bros and more like trying to win.
Totally.
You know, I'd much rather have, and even though like don't get me wrong, I love it as entertainment.
Oh yeah.
I love watching a dummy with bad, dangerous ideas get torn to pieces.
Oh, it's so
in a
cool.
vicious debate. It's delightful.
Mwah.
And I think what we can kind of have to offer as us is like a little bit more of a friendly discussion approach while still holding people accountable.
Oh yeah, I've banned some people
for
from our
their
chat.
batch. Oh yeah, we've banned.
Because and we were talking about this yesterday. The anti-Semitism is crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've never. We went on a public online forum. Almost everybody I've banned has been an anti-Semite.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck? Get a life.
The Bay Bros are depressed and unrealized competitive athletes. Well, maybe I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, like, but it is fun. It is fun.
It's fun and it's cool to hear.
And a lot of those debates, I mean, at least based on people self-reporting, in the comments and stuff, a lot of those debates have converted people.
Oh yeah.
You know, like the Destiny versus JonTron debate seemed to have a huge impact on many conservative kids on the internet, and inspired a lot of them to shift over to the left. So while there is much, I think, worthy of criticism in the debate bro culture, I think there also is an undeniable positive impact that has come from it as well.
Totally. Also, unfortunately, I can't, just because of me, who I am, I can't be a debate bro.
Right.
I'm a little lesbian girl. I can't be like...
Oh, a woman can be a debate bro.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was just like a group of white guys.
It is. Well, because it's generally referring to, a literal group of white dudes.
Yeah.
But, like, I think the attitude and the sort of culture, lifestyle of it absolutely could be embodied by a woman. Though, yes, generally women are not... going in those debates. But, Blair White had a debate with, I think has debated Destiny and Vosh, and went on David Pakman's show.
Interesting.
Yeah, she's done a fair amount of
Interesting.
debate as a trans woman.
Blair White isn't good at debating.
No, she's not.
We should watch something that she does.
Oh, it's not good. Well, there's a funny video. What is it? Why? I think Pakman put it up. Why conservatives don't want to debate or something like that. Oh yeah, here's why the right is afraid. This video.
Identitarianism is one of the.
Did I show this to you before or no?
By Tim Pool. I think so. I think this is like a highlight reel.